It is Tuesday. Well, not Tuesday.
It's not Tuesday.
Wednesday.
The 11th.
The 11th. Yesterday was Tuesday. Today's Wednesday. I don't even know what's going on. We've got the biggest story that we've ever done. That's what I'm excited about. That's what's got me all discombobulated. Literally the biggest story Level 1 has ever done.
You're kind of overhyping it a little bit. I think you're trying to cover up.
Musk has met his Model 3 production quota. This is amazing.
He actually missed it by 5 hours.
And as you'll see in a later story, it's not all good news either.
I like this headline. It's Tesla pushed out. It's a very childbirth
he gave
imagery.
Birth to 7,000 cars by himself.
Yeah, literally by himself. All these stories make it sound like he was there alone, just running down the assembly line at each station, furiously working.
Not, whipping the backs of his employees, screaming in their tents.
He's in a sedan chair. Somebody should Photoshop that.
So this is the Model 3 production, but on top of their other production as well. So
only 5,000 of these were Model 3.
Yeah. So good job, Tesla. Nicely done.
It also should be pointed out that none of these are the $35,000 Model 3s. These are the 50 plus models. So they haven't. If you're all excited about your pleb Model 3, they haven't even started yet.
But one day, don't worry about it.
They did actually open to take sales from anybody, but the cheaper Model 3s are not available yet for the most part.
The other horrible thing about this is, depending on which state you're in, the subsidies are going to stop very soon. So,
already.
If you take possession of your Model 3 tomorrow, you could get 12 grand back, which that's nice, right? But at the end of July, I think it's going to be down to 6 in most places. If you don't get it by September, nothing. It's gone completely in a lot of states. So how long he takes to make these is going to have a serious impact on how much money people get back.
Oh, it's probably going to be a lawsuit. Level 1 predictions.
Probably so.
Or maybe he can lean on some politician to extend those deadlines. But those are all state programs, so there's no way to do that. It's not like it's federal.
Or you can just
Some of them
bribe
might
them
be federal,
individually.
but to get the whole package, you need both state and federal.
I feel like this is that terrible movie from the 80s where they had this impossible production quota, and then the guy was like, I'm going to drive away one of these cars, and it's going to be great, and the rear differential was not actually attached.
You mean if the brakes were to fail?
Yeah, well, that's what's happening, maybe.
Well, there's been no failures. Let's not report falsely.
A couple of them have caught on fire.
But, yes.
Defo.
But for all these new batch, apparently to get them out on time, they haven't been testing the brakes on all of them.
They do say that they test the brakes later in the process and that the brake check was redundant. But if it was redundant and you've been pressed to get these cars out all along, why were you doing it?
Doo-dee-doo. If only we could ask the leader of engineering, which is another thing that's coming. Because, oh my gosh, look at that. Tesla's engineering chief, Doug Field, departs the company for good. Now, he'd actually been on leave for a while, but he's now gone forever.
Probably just using up his vacation time because he's like, I am sick of this crap.
Well, yeah. A lot of people believe that he wanted out, and Musk was like, listen, just take some time. And then he started looking at all these headlines and he knows what's actually happening.
He's watching the Level 1 news and he's just rocking back and forth.
You know what? I don't want to go to federal prison, so I'm going to go ahead and quit.
Implying that anything going on at Tesla would send anybody to federal prison. That's worthy of a downvote in and of itself.
It's bait, chat.
Didn't they also stop doing a bunch of welds? There's 350 welds that they're not doing on the frame and the body
there
of
was
the
some
Model
report
3.
about that. I mean, they're definitely, some would say streamlining, others would say cutting corners.
So now, when your Tesla, when it bursts into flame, it doesn't just burst into flame, it explodes into flame. Just
but it throws you clear of the car, so you won't burn alive.
It's a safety feature.
Yeah,
really.
which is great. Because
I'm just going to go on record and say that even despite these shortcomings, these are any problems that you may experience are really just the early adopter tax. Tesla is obviously the future, And we need to just not worry about these little details like product safety or brakes or whatever. And if the brakes don't work, well, I mean, that's just the price of new technology. That's the price of progress.
I mean, it is a little bit of price of technology, but it's also like, I'd rather not die adopting your supposedly safe car.
See, here's the thing. When your flesh is melting off of your bones from a lithium fire, you can think that's like the future generations are going to be spared that because of your efforts.
Your sacrifice, really.
With a gasoline fire, the fumes would have killed you long before the fire consumed your body.
Yeah, there's no smoke with the lithium fire, so you can feel every singe.
Down votes.
Oh, wow. We just...
But at least we should definitely be out of anti-Tesla stories, right?
Tesla is failing new investigations from OSHA in California because it's building its cars in tents.
Which we reported on this previously, and...
Well, of course it's intense. How else are you going to get 5,000 out a week? Oh man!
So funny.
Here's the let's play the Tesla advocate on this one. The conspiracy theory is, and Musk himself has dabbled in this in his tweets, that the short sellers who have a lot of money are hiring employees to leak things and to make complaints to OSHA in order to try and destroy Tesla.
That might not actually be far off the mark because their stock is up like almost 100% since its low earlier this year, I think. Or in the last year, like its 1 year low. It's up a significant amount.
Well, here's
Shocking.
the issue with your wording there, though. It's like, you couldn't really hire someone to leak something if there wasn't something to leak.
Well,
they're exaggerating.
OSHA has to investigate anytime there's a complaint.
Yeah.
So I think you actually could fake it. And also they talk a lot in this article about how parts of the tent structure are not, they give them like temporary licensing for it, but they've not been inspected. So who knows?
Saying a strong wind might take out a few
One
workers.
of the things was the sprinkler system. You know, speaking of
Lithium.
battery fires.
Yeah.
Do you have to have a more intense sprinkler system than you would normally have?
Intense.
Because it's, because lithium?
I would think that they would have to have, like fire extinguishers.
Well,
and stuff
I don't know if the battery goes on in the tent, right?
No one knows what goes on in the tent.
I think you do most of the production without the battery.
They're just hotboxing in there all day. It's hard to say what's going on.
It's a lot of weed to hotbox a tent of that size, let me tell you.
But they've done it.
But the cool thing is, the giant bong, they just use one of the batteries to light it.
They just crash a Tesla into the bong and then...
Just smash it with a hammer until they get a good flame going.
It's just real wild over there.
Well, I've got some news about Zuckerberg. All this congressional testimony is really catching up with him. He surpassed Warren Buffett to become the world's third richest person.
There's a little bit of a caveat here in that Warren Buffett is old and he stopped caring and he gave away a ton of his money. Oddly enough to Bill Gates.
Oh, yeah, well, that makes sense. Because Bill Gates has been doing philanthropic stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, yeah.
So Bill and Warren, number one, and the previous number three, are just burning bags full of money.
They go to the Tesla tent. And
that's how Zuckerberg caught up.
HTC is going to lay off 1,500 employees in search of profit. So HTC, they make so many things, phones, and just Google scooped up some of their employees. I think we reported on that last year. And
Make these VR headsets that no one wants.
Yeah, the HTC Vive. Is that a thing? Is that still a thing for now, maybe?
Well, it seems to be.
It's going to go away soon.
As are a lot of their employees.
As it turns out.
Profitability will return. It's going to cut its Taiwan workforce by 1,500 people. That's 22%. Jeez. That
Profits will return by cutting down all of our people.
The people that left are the people that did the Pixel for Google.
You know who they could pick up some people from? ZTE.
It's like
it's shuffling around.
The wife swap TV show. It's like executive swap.
Engineer swap.
What could possibly go wrong?
This engineer doesn't comment anything in here.
Ziff Davis ZDNet has got a fun article. LG has embarrassed itself with OLED burn-in at the SID trade show. So yeah, new OLED TV. This is amazing. Oh,
That is
That's bad.
really bad burn-in right there.
that's actually shockingly bad because there's a website called RTings. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but they actually test for this kind of stuff. And they haven't produced burn-in that bad, even under artificial conditions. So you got to wonder what the heck they were doing.
But also, it's every color. Look at that.
Yeah.
That's like every color of
it's
the
just
rainbow
one.
burns equally on the screen.
Yeah.
This is the flagship. They talked about how they had only purchased this TV 60 hours before
Yeah.
the trade show. So this was brand new. It ran for the entire day. And the next day, it looked like that.
That just seems crazy. There's something not right here because OLED burn-in is a thing, but it shouldn't be that bad. Unless the brightness was like at 1,000,000%.
It may have been.
Well, I'm
though.
sure for a trade show, you want it to be very vibrant.
Crisp, yeah.
But even at the max brightness, it shouldn't do that. That's not okay.
I don't know. This might be a hit piece. I have a feeling that we might be reporting a correction next week, maybe, but maybe not.
Well, I mean, where did they get that image from? Is that touched up, you think?
I don't know.
Like control the levels.
Is
in
that a deep
Photoshop.
fake?
I don't know. There's got to be more to the story here. Maybe the TV was on for longer, or maybe it's damaged somehow.
Well, it
something.
couldn't have been.
There are OLED phone screens that have burn-in this bad that I've seen, but it's usually like a first-generation device.
I don't know why you're so insistent that
He's a
this
shill.
couldn't just be a bad TV.
Because it's only 60 hours. Oh, you mean like just
SHILL.
like this model is bad, you mean? Or like this particular one has something wrong with it?
Either.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's true.
But if either of those are true, they're both pretty disconcerting.
Yeah, that's true. It's like,
Wouldn't be looking to buy one of those.
No.
LG going to give you a TV for, every 3 months whenever you've got really severe
Every
burn-in.
24 hours?
Every 60 hours of programming.
What if I want to play a lot of video games?
Yeah, well, that's might be why they're not selling OLED monitors all that much. Or they're crazy expensive, if they are. The other big news this week is Patreon is suspending adult content creators because of its payment partners. So Patreon has said, we don't care, but Patreon is getting large enough that companies like Visa, who handle their credit cards, are like, you know what, we don't really want to be a part of this. Which seems odd.
That does seem odd. Like, because this Visa are they not okay with like
No,
processing for other things? Like,
Yeah, they talk about anything to do with sex.
that's
They've
curious.
shut down before. In an unrelated note, the new series from Level 1 Text has been canceled.
Adult content could mean cerebral content too. You don't know.
That's not what it means.
No, it's definitely not.
Yeah, they did talk about, though, apparently it only, there are people on Patreon who produce adult content, but you're not allowed to display it on Patreon.
Upload it.
So you can
yeah.
still support your favorite porn slut, but she can't put any nude pictures. And there was one who had a reward tier
That's pretty common.
where you got like a personal nude or something like that.
That's very common where like a
That's
girl will
not-
do that where it's like you get a signed photo of me every month.
That's
Yeah.
also like a Twitch, a thing that's common with a certain type of Twitch streamer.
Thought.
But
You can
that-
say it.
But that
We're gonna get demonetized.
that's not an official Twitch feature.
No.
No.
Yeah, you have to go through something like Patreon,
Yeah.
which
Twitch
opens up
What a funny name.
an opening in the industry for a Patreon specifically for
Oh,
porn.
what were we gonna call ours? Because we talked about this the other day.
It was a good name. I forgot what it was.
Oh, it's gonna bother me until we think of it.
No.
If we did think of a name, didn't we think of a name for like what you should call the cam girl streams in Twitch? Like what that category should be? Was it Thought Spot?
That was something else. The Twitch for cam girls was Twatch.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I just want them to have their own category. So that way when I'm trying to browse creative streams, I don't see 20 million booby streamers first. That's all I want. Not related.
I'm sure that the people that like that kind of streaming would like having their own category for that kind of thing as well.
Because then you can find what you're looking for instead of getting
Yeah,
distracted.
you don't have to waste your time with.
it's like, this girl's just learning to play the guitar. This is terrible.
This
I
is
don't
what I
want this.
came here for. Yeah.
She's wearing a sweater.
Time to split the nanosecond. time split to the nanosecond is precisely what Wall Street wants. So Stanford and Google apparently have figured out a way to synchronize computers down to 0.1 nanoseconds, or hundredths of a nanosecond. And that's great for high-frequency traders on Wall Street.
Which is bad for everybody else. So it maybe shouldn't do that. Because the only reason, I mean, when you're talking about an efficient market, you want to get buyers and sellers together at a certain price. No one decides that at the nanosecond level. That's just cheating.
So what you're saying is, yeah, I don't know. Did we have another article about how, because it's been so hot in New York, that it takes an extra like 20 nanoseconds or 20 microseconds to do something?
It's 8.
8 nanoseconds, or not 8 microseconds.
That might be in nonsense. I don't remember.
We'll get to that one. It's fine.
We just ruined it. We spoiled it, but that's okay.
No,
That basically was the story, yes.
Yeah, it's fine. AT&T, remember they merged with Time Warner? AT&T promised lower prices after its Time Warner merger. It literally went on record in a court of law and told a judge who said, okay, that sounds good, that AT&T and Time Warner, after merging, will be more competitive because they will eliminate redundancy, have less overhead, and therefore be able to offer consumers lower prices. So, most DirecTV Now prices are going up $5 a month at the end of July.
Because, fuck you.
This is basically, yeah, you know, it's in dollars and cents, but this is the same. We talked about the HBO story last week, and of course, Taylor Swift now.
Oh, yeah.
So
My
Taylor
favorite
Swift,
channel.
that's going to cost you $5 extra.
You know, I will do anything I have to do to see that Taylor Swift live.
Well,
AT&T knows that, and that's why they're charging you $5 extra.
Paying $5 is what you have to do. You know, I remember when the two satellite radio companies, when they were merging, this same exact thing played out. And they testified. They're like, no, it's going to be better. And the exact same thing. They just immediately raised prices after they were done.
I really want to write that judge a letter and be like, hey, do you think you could, like, is there anything you can do about this? Because I wanted to bring this to your attention. And he'd probably send a SWAT team after me. There's no threat or anything there, but it's just like, hey, did you actually think that what you thought would happen, or are you just on the payroll?
You better get some pics of all the schools that his kids go to and include them.
Get a really manly email address. Like manly stubble.
Stubble manliness.
Oh,
You
that's
know,
right. Stubble manliness.
To speak to that argument, what AT&T is going to say, and they'll argue this successfully every time, is this is not the same package. Look how much more Taylor Swift you're getting in this new package. It's not apples and apples. This is a totally different thing because you get Taylor Swift.
They do have one plan that was a slightly lower price, but it's less stuff.
It's less Taylor Swift, so.
Basically, they're saying by asking for more Taylor Swift, look what you made us do.
You know what? That's
It took a
funny,
minute,
Wendell?
didn't it?
That's funny because that's a lyric to a thing.
You do know. I'm amazed right now.
I only know because the people on the forum were like freaking out about how good it was, and there was a link posted online.
Did you listen to
I
it?
did, and I thought it was terrible.
It's not great. It's all right.
Our audience, especially the people in the Twitch chat and on the forum, love Taylor Swift. It's universal. They all love her, which is weird because you wouldn't think that Venn diagram would even touch.
Well, her advice on security is quite good, but I don't really care for her other artistic endeavors.
Her music is okay. It's catchy. It's fine to listen to on a summer afternoon.
But
Not when you're deep in the throes of depression.
any
like
other
that.
season, not acceptable.
Yeah.
It does not feel the emptiness inside.
For you, that's only Weird Al, though.
Weird Al, I do
So-
enjoy his cleverness.
You're saying you've got a blank space inside of you?
And you'll write his name.
Charter has launched a mobile video service, and it throttles all. No, Charter has launched a mobile service, and it's throttled all video to 480p. Although if you call
There you
them,
go.
they will upgrade you to 720p, but they're going to charge you more for that.
They
No, I
upgrade
thought
you.
that was
Woohoo!
the competitor that was doing the 720.
I thought it was Charter.
Comcast is doing
Oh,
720.
yeah, but you have to call them on an interim basis at no charge, but they plan to charge extra. So
And-
yeah, the timing here seems really frustrating though, because
But
what's with the synchronization?
the big story here, when you say synchronization, is they've actually got an agreement that they only sell these wireless plans in their own market, so there can be no competition between the two. I mean, think about that.
I'm thinking about it.
You talk about, collusion for pricing. That is exactly what they're doing here.
And it's so blatant and plain too. Well, I mean, if the people that were asking Zuckerberg the questions are the people who are figuring out if there's collusions or kind of shenanigans going on here, it's hopeless.
Well, do they have to figure it out? They're telling us. It's in the press release.
I like this quote here. The Charter and Comcast video limits are likely not related to the recent repeal of net neutrality rules. The rules banned throttling, but they had an exception for reasonable network management.
I guess it's true that when you're watching on a phone, high resolution isn't that important. But what if you're hotspotting or something like that?
Yeah. Or what if you just want to decide? I mean, it's like it's my right to watch 4K if I paid for a certain
On my
amount of
tiny cell phone.
But it is, it goes back to the whole point of like, if I were downloading something else with that data, there's no difference to you.
Yeah.
It's just what I want to do with my plan.
My plan.
MoviePass. MoviePass's new business plan is to charge you whatever it wants. So MoviePass, oh, that's not good.
Oh my gosh, that's real.
Yeah, that's a...
Yeah, but they're blocking out the last numbers.
That's
But
not...
the name is there and the expiration date.
Cassie Langdon, I'm just going to tell you now, you just need to go ahead and cancel that MasterCard.
Poor Cassie.
Cassie, how did I know it was a MasterCard? You gotta really... I'm so sorry.
So I wonder about this because I remember earlier in the year when they were offering these plans, you could do the best pricing. You had to do like the 12-month sign up, right? So isn't this they're changing the deal?
Yeah.
In the middle of your mandatory 12 months?
MoviePass is adopting surge pricing. So popular movies, you're not going to know.
Well, you have to go on and so to get your MoviePass, you use the app. And when you go into the app, you see all the different movies that are playing and all that stuff. If they have a little red dot next to them, it's an extra $3.99.
Doesn't seem like a good deal anymore.
Yeah,
Well,
at this
but it
point,
is. Think about it. It is a good deal. Because what is it, $10 a month?
If you watch like 2 movies a month, maybe.
except
But you
when
can
is the
watch
last-
30.
But except how many good movies are there out at any given time?
0.
Yeah.
So if you're watching movies, you're not watching good movies. But I'm saying you're still, I think you would have to watch, even if you watched 3 peak movies a month, you save money. So for a big moviegoer, it's still a good deal. And it still probably isn't going to help them from losing money. They lost $40 million in April,
Oh,
and it looks like they're going to lose 45 for June.
phew.
That's not a sustainable business model. I'm
Well,
no
listen.
economist. But if I saw that, I would not invest.
That sounds like a healthy user base to me. I mean, it works for Twitter.
But that also shows you that the people they have are abusing the shit out of that service. They're not like you talking about watching 2 movies.
Yeah.
They're watching 20.
They're not like people like us who see a movie maybe once or twice a year. Tell me, chat, YouTube, whoever you are, tell me if I should see the new Jurassic Park movie in the comments. And don't spoil it, please.
Oh,
Yeah, engagement. Woo.
I don't want
You
to know if
shouldn't
the
have-
dinosaurs get out.
you shouldn't have added that last
I don't
part.
want to know if they get out or not. I'm going to say that this time they got all the security precautions right.
This time, nothing goes wrong, and you just observe the park operating normally for an hour and a half.
I want to
sounds
see the overhead, the logistics part. That's what I'm there for. So
There's a $6 billion startup in China. First of all, if you've got $6 billion of funding, you're not a startup. You're an existing business that's pivoting to new verticals. That's not a startup.
I
That's
think
a
they
different
were,
thing.
well, it mentions in the article they were a startup several years ago.
Well, there are other non-startups, Tencent, AIA, and New World, that are behind.
Tencent owns like half of China.
Yes.
They're certainly not a startup.
Well, I just, WeChat, that's Tencent. And of course, so this thing is named WeDoctor. Because, of course, what else would it be named?
we doctor.
It's got an urban flavor to it, doesn't it?
We doctor.
This looks so exciting. I mean, it's so clean, and this is not frontier medicine at all. You're talking to the computer. Your phone's diagnosing you. I mean, obviously, this is where the future is.
You're telling me I have to pay for WebMD?
Well, it's not quite that, but they make a good argument. And Bloomberg, maybe they're trying to sell this to us, but they talk about how in China, how much you think, I mean, you guys read this, but a doctor in China per year, $10,000.
That doesn't seem like enough.
No.
That's crazy. And so they relate that to the level of care being, garbage, because it's like a public defender. You don't want that doctor. You want to get the better doctor if you can possibly afford it. So this thing tries to cut through the bureaucracy of Chinese medicine and get you exactly what you need and avoid all the bad stuff.
I saw an app the other day that's available here in the U.S. that is like a house call app, and it's like Uber. So you can go on there and you can be like, hey, I'm staying at a hotel for a conference, but I have a terrible headache and it might be an ear infection or whatever. And a doctor will come and see you at the hotel at like all hours of the day or night. And it's not insanely expensive.
But again, that's the question of who's the doctor in the area? Can I see their medical licensing?
Most of the time it's not really a doctor. It's what's called a nurse practitioner.
Oh, okay.
Where
But still, again, can I see their credentials?
Yeah,
they still have to have credentials.
That is absolutely going to be turned into high price prostitution in a very short amount of time.
Hi, I called the nurse. And she's just wearing scrubs and like her stethoscope, and she's got like her bag. She's like, yes. And he's like, no, where's the sexy nurse? She's just like, sir, what's the problem here? She doesn't understand.
But what's important...
That'd be a funny skit.
What's important is the Chinese are totally used to having all of their life details, exposed, and the government knows everything. So why would you care about your healthcare data being out there? So they're fine with this kind of thing.
Oh dear!
I'd be a little nervous about it, but
well, yeah, you would. But again, you have some. Or at least you think you have some level of privacy.
Yeah.
But the Chinese are not living under that illusion. They know that Big Brother knows everything. So why not tell them about your, whatever, ulcerative colitis? If you might get it cured.
Well, the heat wave in New York City is slowing down day traders. This is the article I was looking for.
It wasn't this bad.
I thought it was, but I wasn't sure. This is crazy.
This is the spoiled article.
So it's been 90 degrees in New York City for a while now, and so
you're on our level, New York.
Yeah, I feel sorry for the stock photography people, but
that's clearly a day trader.
I mean, clearly.
Yeah.
So
at the cool zone,
because it's so hot, things are running slower because the wires are physically longer because it's hot.
Yeah,
that's the story.
This is again high frequency trading. So you have an exchange. We did a story not long ago. There's an exchange in Chicago, and there's the one in New York, and the trades between the two go along a series of microwave towers, and they paid, I think it was $20 million for a little patch of land where they might be able to intercept that microwave signal. Literally, it's just like a little dish and a battery and a little set of hardware to capture it. $20 million, just so they might be able to front run some of those trades. That's our market. That's how our market works.
Somebody also got in trouble for insider trading when some stock report came out and the trades executed simultaneously in like Chicago and New York. Whoever ordered the trades forgot to account for speed of light propagation delay between New York and Chicago.
It's an easy thing to miss,
And Google's making it easier. Oh, don't be evil.
Well, it's not their thing anymore. Not Alphabet's either.
You closed the tab.
No, I didn't mean to close the tab.
Broken?
It's fine. Hardware news, switching gears to hardware news. Good news, you can buy a video card. If not now, very soon. NVIDIA has got by all accounts, NVIDIA has got a massive backlog of video cards for the 10 series graphics cards. Hell, we might be able to buy 1080 Ti's for $200 pretty soon.
Are you saying like it's like the July 4th ads where it's furniture, but instead of that, it's graphic cards? Buy.
Sunday, going out of business sale. It's just really, it's like, no.
July 4th sale.
Yeah, it's things are not good for the 10 series graphics cards right now, especially with cryptocurrency down and everything else like that. GIGABYTE has got their quarterly earning or their monthly earnings report. They were down like 30%, 39% this month.
Ooh.
So yeah, that's kind of rough. That's now last month they made almost 100% more last month than they did the prior year. So not really anything terrible, but yeah, the bottom has fallen out of graphics card sales. So
Can't
Pretty
really
rough.
feel sorry for them.
No.
They saw an opportunity and they took it, and they knew this day was coming.
Well, it's really funny because by other accounts, we've got 11 series graphics cards just waiting in the wings, but NVIDIA will not release them until they lower the inventory of the 10 series graphics cards. So it's kind of rough.
Man, it makes sense.
Ericsson and Intel have achieved a milestone with an end-to-end 5G data call. So yeah, Ericsson and Intel working together, talking about 5G. 5G was a big part of Intel's presentation at Computex this year. They're making radios. They're doing all kinds of stuff. It's really exciting times for Intel in the mobile sector, except...
Do you think on that call he was like, Mr. Watson?
That
I would
be
have done
funny.
that.
That would be amazing. I don't think that they know history, though.
You don't think they know about Alexander Graham Bell?
No.
Is your refrigerator running? I think that's probably what they
that's
led
probably
with.
what they did.
Prince Albert in a can.
Or when the Intel guy was talking to the Ericsson guy was like, "Hey, I heard you guys were going to have problems selling your 5G modems to Apple. At least that was the rumor." And that wasn't actually what happened. It's not Intel's 5G chip that Apple is ditching. It's the Sunny Peak Bluetooth and Wi-Fi chip. So there was some kind of a call where this was sort of a weird story. There was like it was one of those shareholder calls, and the people transcribing the call misunderstood what Sunny Peak was. They thought Sunny Peak was Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and 5G all combined. And so they said that Apple is dropping its order for Sunny Peak, Bluetooth, and Wi-Fi, or Apple is dropping its order for Sunny Peak. The analysts thought that included the 5G chip. It does not, because Intel said, well, Apple is not buying our 5G chip, but they didn't say anything about Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. So probably Apple's not buying the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. It's kind of convoluted.
This kind of sounds like damage control a little bit.
So it just seems like a mess. But yeah, Qualcomm, probably good news for Qualcomm. Or
I think they had a cake in the conference room Friday.
other people. 5G by 2020. We don't have the 5G infrastructure in America. It's a terrible mess.
But we got that one call. And I disagree. I think what they talked about on that call was who was banging who at Intel.
Intel inside.
You remember the joke from the other
I
week.
do.
It's amazing.
I remember slogans and logos.
ThinkComputers.org has an article on the NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1180, which has been listed on the Vietnamese online store. This is the rumor mill. Like, this is what we've been reduced to. There's literally no hardware news. So there's just rumors this week.
This is already a short episode, the middle episode, and this is what we're trying to fill a little bit of time with. You're welcome.
Rumors and innuendo. Now, the Vietnamese site listed it for sale at $1,500 US, which is more than twice what it should be if it was a successor to the 1080.
What do you
Ti.
think the average income in Vietnam is?
Not anywhere near that. Not even $600 a year.
It's probably more than that in Vietnam. That's what it was in Uganda.
Yeah. Well, if you're mining cryptocurrency, I mean, you imagine. Do you see the carnage pictures from the flooded cryptocurrency mining operation? It was just a field of graphics cards and power supplies, and they were all waterlogged with floodwaters. It was a very disappointing sight.
So you're saying there's a chance they could work and that we should take them?
Well, maybe the value of cryptocurrency will go back up as a result of all the flooding and the loss of the mining equipment. But I don't think that was really significant enough to make a dent in that. But I could be wrong. There was also a microcode update this week from Intel that suggests that we're going to see 8-core Coffee Lake CPUs as a 6+2 configuration. So, again, rumor and innuendo and speculation. But that's all we've got. That's all we've got. We've got to hang tenaciously onto the rumors because we literally have nothing else.
It's been a slow year for hardware.
Woo! What's in the next episode?
Robots and security and nonsense.
So you got that to look forward to.